What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's government has condemned a planned joint naval drill between China and Indonesia in waters off Taiwan's east coast. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council, which deals with Taiwan's China policy, called the planned exercise dangerous. He also accused Beijing of using the drill to assert jurisdiction over the area. While Chinese vessels regularly enter waters around Taiwan, Chinese joint drills with foreign militaries in these waters are rare. Indonesia's Navy has not yet commented, according to Reuters. Taiwan is urging the public to stay vigilant against Chinese interference. That's after media reports suggest that Beijing plans to support pro-China forces in Taiwan's upcoming local elections. The Mainland Affairs Council was responding to reports of 4 priorities Beijing set out for Taiwan at its Beidaihe Summit Forum. A Taiwanese security official told local media that the list says China opposes Taiwan pursuing independence through military expansion, will strengthen, quote, de facto governance of Taiwan, will mobilize resources against pro-independence groups, and support pro-unification forces in upcoming local elections. Taiwan's government regularly warns about Chinese political infiltration and attempted interference in elections. To learn more about how these reported strategies from Beijing might translate into action, Reese Air spoke to Chen Fangyu, an associate professor of political science at Suzhou University.
At the Beidaihe meeting, China said it would focus on strengthening de facto governance over Taiwan. In practice, could Beijing use legal and cognitive warfare to undermine Taipei's authority?
In recent years, we have seen that Beijing is strengthening its connection with Taiwan's, not only in the grassroots level, but also we have seen that espionage cases has already gone onto the very high level of government officials. And Beijing's plan is to connect with various levels of Taiwanese people, including the military personnel, and also in various levels of the civil servants. And also the cognitive warfare is against the ordinary people, the citizens.
So Beijing also talks about mobilizing resources across all Taiwanese sectors to counter independence. So which networks or local infrastructure in Taiwan are perhaps most vulnerable to Chinese infiltration?
Almost every level has its vulnerability. There's a recent news saying that Beijing is targeting the middle schools and high school students, invite them to visit China. And also they are giving some secret resources to the local elections. Beijing is trying to absorb and trying to do more espionage cases. For example, Beijing is giving a lot of resources to the media, journalists, and also the anchors, and trying to recruit more spies. And even some of the group members, including some the retired military personnel.
And Taiwan's local elections are coming up in November. How do we expect that China's support for those so-called patriotic forces might manifest in the lead up to those elections?
It is not based on patriotism. It is based on material interests and bribes. We have seen several cases of anti-infiltration charges in recent years. I think that in the local elections, people should be aware of the information, the resource of the information, and to fact check, and also maybe to discuss more information and the political affairs with your friends, not only from the TikToks or some of the social medias, because it is highly controlled or influenced by some of the Chinese influencers.
That was Chen Fangyu, an associate professor at Suzhou University. A week into the 10-day annual military war games in Taiwan, troops in Taipei are rehearsing how to handle serious injuries in a wartime scenario. As Ella reports, the drill follows live-fire exercises in Taiwan's strategic outlying islands.
U.S.-made battle tanks opened fire, sending smoke rising over the water. Taiwan's military has conducted live-fire drills on the outlying Penghu Islands as part of the annual Hanguang exercise, simulating a defense against a Chinese airborne assault. The drill features tanks, howitzers, machine guns, and drones. Penghu holds strategic importance because of its position just off Taiwan's main island.
中共会想方设法，在他攻台之后先把澎湖拿下来，那他也可以把兵力往前推。 它也可以当成它陆航基地或者防空基地，或者是后勤整补基地。
While these are military drills the country holds every year, Taiwan has in recent years come under increasing pressure from China, which claims Taiwan and has not ruled out the use of force to take it. Taiwan has been stepping up its defensive preparations, and here in Taipei, they're training for another key part of defense, treating battlefield casualties. The Taipei Reserve Brigade has been fully mobilized for this year's exercise, and here they're practicing combat casualty care, where they treat wounded troops, aiming to keep forces in the fight after an attack. The drill simulates troops getting injured while fighting off an enemy, forcing them to treat their own injuries and help other wounded soldiers. And despite a thunderstorm, the training continues. But some analysts say Taiwan still has work to do before it can fully handle large numbers of war casualties.
作战当中，我可能会产生很大量的外科式的创伤的。在我们国家来讲，所有医院加起来，外伤的病房、外伤的手术室其实是远远不足的。
And in eastern Taiwan, troops have simulated a response to a chemical attack, learning to evacuate and treat exposed personnel and decontaminate armored vehicles. The drills are all aimed at making sure troops can respond effectively to any kind of attack. Patrick Chen and Anna Lu for TaiwanPlus.
The companies building the hardware behind the AI boom are gathering in Taipei. The Open Compute Project is holding its two-day summit this week, bringing together firms across the AI infrastructure supply chain. Our reporter Lila Martina was there.
AI may look like a software revolution, but behind every AI response is a massive race to build the physical infrastructure that makes it possible. That's the focus of the 2026 Open Compute Project, or OCP, summit taking place in Taipei. OCP is a global, industry-led initiative that promotes open designs and standards for data center infrastructure.
We felt like we had the right technology. We just needed to be able to interface with the right people in order to get the right solution in the application. And so Open Compute Project was the perfect place for it. And we've been participating in OCP for about 10 years now.
OCP was launched by Meta in 2011 after the company redesigned its own data center infrastructure. The idea was to share those designs and engineering practices rather than keep them proprietary. Today, data centers are the physical backbone of AI. They house the chips, servers, and equipment to train AI models. They also require enormous amounts of power, cooling, and other infrastructure. And as AI demand grows, the goal of OCP is to make building these data centers more scalable and compatible across vendors.
And OCP is very good at bringing it together and kind of getting some standards around that so we can, uniformly move in the right direction, but keeping it open so vendors like us can be involved and other vendors can collaborate and make the end result better.
That puts Taiwan at the center of the conversation.
We really see the importance of Taiwan in its place in the supply chain globally. I mean, so much is manufactured here, so much development is done here, so much technology is housed here and starts here that we would be crazy to ignore it. I mean, it's really got an important place worldwide, and so this is really one of the first places we wanted to come.
Hosting the OCP summit in Taiwan puts that global push for open hardware together with the companies actually building it. Chris Ma and Lily Lamatina in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Health Insurance Administration has released data on longer-term cancer survival rates as part of its work to combat the country's leading cause of death.
透过病人的癌症历程照护，我们可以从筛检、诊断、治疗到追踪病人的相关的数据，将高风险的病人找回医院。
The data shows that patients with some cancers like breast, prostate, and cervical have a strong chance of survival 5 years after treatment. But pancreatic cancer, often discovered later, remains a major killer. The health authority is promoting early detection and screening through its health app. An animal shelter in New Taipei has been transformed into Taiwan's first long-term care center for animals, aiming to provide comfort and better treatment for elderly and disabled cats and dogs. Our reporter Sandy Chi went to visit.
Xiaoman arrived at this new Taipei animal shelter earlier this year, unable to stand on her hind legs. And now she's slowly getting back on her feet.
小曼大概是今年初，因为民众通报她躺在路边，所以我们救援回来的狗。她来的时候其实就是躺着，完全后脚没有办法起身。我们大概前1个礼拜给她止痛药，然后给她神经的保护药剂，所以大概1个礼拜之后，她慢慢可以起身，也比较不痛了。然后之后我们之后就进行其他的复健，就是让她多动。
Xiaoman is receiving specialized care at this shelter, which has been transitioned into Taiwan's first long-term care facility for aged or disabled cats and dogs. Although its current residents are all dogs, it's designed around the needs of these animals, combining daily care, rehabilitation facilities, and activity spaces.
收容的动物就是年纪越来越大，然后有些其实部分动物因为年老，或者是不管是有一些疾病或者是行动不便，它在一般的收容环境下其实是很没有生活品质的。像我们这边就是提供我们收容动物的一些比较基础的一些健康评估，或者是它有一些老年疾病的一些管理，然后甚至它老了有一些关节问题，会提供一些它的疼痛的控制。然后另外的话，我们可以做针灸的治疗，还有一些水疗跑步机的复健。
The facility is not just for the older animals here. The support extends beyond the shelter. People who adopt animals from shelters in New Taipei can take advantage of free veterinary care for life. The services also extend to other pet owners, with monthly courses on how to care for aging animals. Government figures show around a quarter of the nation's nearly 2.8 million registered pets are considered elderly. Despite the upgraded facilities and additional resources, the center says more help is needed as it continues to face staff shortages.
因为一早来他们的犬舍会比较脏，对吧？我们要先把它清干净，然后喂他们吃饭，喂2餐，对啊，然后有需要喂药、喂营养品，对，然后就是有一些需要特别照顾的啊，譬如说不会走路的、不会吃饭的，对啊，就是协助他们。最辛苦的部分其实要看狗的情况啦。如果是说像狗没办法自理的狗的只数多的话，对啊，就会比较忙不过来啦。
That is when people like Jason Zhu, a volunteer foster caregiver, step in. Zhu has been caring for Dabao, an older stray dog, for months at home because he requires round-the-clock assistance that the center cannot always provide.
长岛区的这些工作人员下班之后，他很有可能就是隔天来的时候全身都是屎尿，因为他行动不便嘛，所以有时候在上完厕所的时候，他没有办法离开，他可能就是用翻滚的方式。其实他到我们家，他其实是蛮爱干净的，因为他有时候他想要上厕所，他会叫，然后当然吃饭啊、喝水啊，他都会叫，那我们就会尽量满足他的需求，这样子，至少他有生之年，他可以有一个比较在家庭生活的环境。
Today, the center cares for around 20 dogs. And while finding homes for elderly or disabled animals remains difficult, the home and its foster families are working to give strays like Xiaoman the comfort and care they deserve in the years they have left. Klein Wang and Tani Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of daring divers leaping from the waterfall in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.